You know, it's one thing for Target to fess up and say that it's screwed up, quite another for the Internal Revenue Service, because if you think about it, there is a big difference between a retailer saying that your credit card might have been compromised and the IRS saying, guess what, your tax data was. Because 100,000 Americans' tax data was compromised, and apparently unbeknownst to the largest tax collection power on planet Earth. Now, we don't know what on the earth got out, or whose tax info got out, or whether any of these folks hacked have even found out. But what we do know is tax records tend to be a tad bigger than credit card receipts, and in the wrong hands, much more dangerous and prone to extortion. And keep in mind, this is what we know right now. This all happened months ago, and we're only learning about it now. Cyber expert Ira Victor says it's going to get worse. First, my basic question, I've raised this before, is why do we always find out well after the fact? At least in the IRS, it was only a couple of months in the last case of it. But well after the fact. Why is that?
Because the attackers are very good at keeping a low profile. And think about it, Neil. If they want to raise red flags, if they raise red flags, that will stop their attack. So they need to go low and slow, steal the information, and get as much as they can before in this case, the authorities figure out what's going on.
All right, so the IRS finally did, I think, 200,000 attempts, 100,000 succeeded. Do we know who those people are? Do we know who is behind this, or do we know what's going to be done with that information?
Well, we can only speculate. The IRS has not told us what they know about the people that they think are behind this attack, but we can speculate from previous attacks that they are part of a vast underground economy. There's a whole part of the internet referred to as the dark web or the dark net. It's not, you don't get there by going to Google or Yahoo. You need actually special software developed, ironically, by the federal government, by the military, for communications, encrypted communication, and they didn't want our enemies to be able to crack all of that data and find something valuable. So the federal government, the military, released that software to the entire world so that their communications would be hidden among non-military communications. That dark net, that dark web, is where the cyber criminals thrive. You can literally buy a hit on someone. You can buy a hitman to murder someone. So the ability to buy people's identities and their tax records, as bad as that is on the low scale of seriousness of what is traded in commerce.
Well, what's scary about this, Ira, is with very little basic facts, they got through and got a lot of this tax info. In other words, a social security number. I guess you can guess at people's passwords or whatever. And they were in. And I guess
it was easy.
I understand. But I guess what I'm asking you is, what are they doing with this information? In other words, if someone is able to get through, are they extorting someone with it? Or are they saying, hey, we see the write-offs that you have and the contributions you're making, and we don't think this is accurate?
So think of it as a huge underground bazaar where you've got buyers and sellers, Neil. So you've got all sorts of people who are saying, wow, if I had this sort of information about Neil Cavuto, what could I do with it? And you have all different types of criminals with different skills that will buy and trade in this information. So it could be extortion. It could be draining money out of your bank account. It could be all, I mean, no one can conceive of all the different ways to use this rich treasure trove of information that the cyber criminals allegedly stole from the IRS.
It is
right
scary.
Underneath their nose.
No, you're right. The IRS, I mean, that's the scary part. Ira, thank you. Always good having you, I think, even on the days like this. All right, now.
Thanks, Neil.